So today we are discussing about print layouts. What is a print layout? First we'll discuss what is a print layout. Whenever you go to shopping, for example, you go to Reliance Digital or Bajaj Electronics to buy some electrical item, maybe TV or a laptop. After paying the bill, what they'll give you? After paying the amount, what they will give you?
Bill receipt.
They'll give you a bill, right? With their company logo and with their company address and your transaction details, and at the end what you can find? Total amount, discount, everything in between. So at the top of the bill you can find logo of the company and address, right? And
Yes.
next to that you can find your transaction details. What is the amount, what is the material you purchased, and what is the amount, what is the tax amount, what is the discount, and what is the total amount, what is the mode of payment, everything, right, in a tabular format, right?
Yes.
After that
Yes,
what
sir.
you can find at the end? You can find
Yes,
terms and conditions, right?
sir.
Terms and conditions of exchange, terms and conditions of the return, right? They'll print
Yes,
all
sir.
the terms and conditions in any bill, right? So where we are going to design that layout? In SAP, where we are going to design that bills, invoice layouts, or purchase order print layouts. We use SAP scripts. This is one type of print layout option, but this is very older technique. In recent days, no one is using SAP scripts to design the print layout. Okay, print layout is any print layout. Okay, whatever the printout you take from SAP. For example, if you take a report, ALV report, how you are displaying the data? In some ALV format, right? But
Yes, sir.
when we print a invoice, when we print a bill, we need some proper format, right? With the company logo, address, and transaction details and everything. At that time, we
Yes, sir.
design this layout where we should keep our logo, where we should keep our address, where we should keep our transaction details. For example, if you observe this, anyway, this is not clear. So here they are using some logo at the top of the page, right? And
Yes, sir.
here they are using the address of their company, and here they are printing some details like who's the manager and who sold it, what is the time of the purchase, everything. Here what they are displaying, although it is not clear,
Transaction.
these are the transaction details. What is the material you purchased, the description of the material, what is the amount, what is the tax, what is the discount, and what is the total amount they are displaying here. This should be repeated, right? For example, if you purchase 20 materials, this should be repeated, right? The transaction, we should have 20 transactions here in the same smartphone or print layout, right? What if the first page is not sufficient to print all your transaction codes, transactions? It should automatically go to the second page, right? If all your transaction is not sufficient here, this space is not sufficient, that should automatically populate in the second page. So at the end, what you can find? Some terms and conditions and their contact numbers, right?
Yes, sir.
Who is going to design this layout in SAP? ABAP developer should design this print layout. Clear?
Okay, sir.
As I said, SAP script is the one of the print layout technique. It is outdated option, I can say. You don't need to concentrate on SAP scripts anymore. You will get that requirement in some support projects, but that is very rare. Okay. So what is the second option after SAP scripts? Smart forms are introduced. Smart forms. Smart forms are advanced than SAP scripts, because in SAP scripts we cannot print color text, we cannot print color logos, we cannot print tabular data in a proper format, tabular data in a proper formats in SAP scripts. Also we cannot print background images like watermarks, right? You know watermarks, right? Background image of the page, you know
Yes,
that,
sir.
right? So these are not possible in scripts, SAP scripts, so that we are using smart forms. SAP has introduced smart forms with all these advanced options, right? After smart forms we have Adobe Forms. So Adobe Forms are advanced than smart forms. The difference is smart forms are not interactive. Once you generated the print layout, you cannot edit it. Okay? But Adobe Forms are interactive. Once you generated the print layout, you can edit it. You can enter the details or you can edit the data in the form. For example, you might observe when you are filling some online forms, you will get a PDF form where you can enter your data, right? So
Yes, sir.
Adobe Forms are advanced than smart forms. These are interactive. The main difference is Adobe Forms are interactive. After generating the form, you can enter the data also, but smart forms are not interactive and it won't generate the PDF output. Smart form generates the normal smart form layout and you need to convert it to PDF later. Okay. After generating the smart form, if you want a PDF layout, if you want to generate it as a PDF file, you have to convert it. Okay. So first we'll discuss about smart forms. So as I said, so in smart forms, it's a print layout anywhere in script, smart forms or Adobe Forms, all are used to design these print layouts. What is the transaction code to design the smart forms?
Smartphones.
Smart forms is the transaction code. By going to this transaction code, you can design a smart form layout. Okay. Here we have windows. What do you mean by window? Inside the window, we can print the data. For example, if you see this here, for logo, we are using one window. For this address, we are using one window. For the second address, we are using another window. For this main content, transactions, right? We are using separate window, right? There are different types of windows in smart forms. Each window has a specific purpose. Okay. So if you take these windows, this cannot extend. These are fixed with windows. Whatever the windows we are using for address and the logo, these are fixed with windows because there is no change in the data. So they don't need to expand, right? These are fixed with windows. For example, 5 centimeters width and 5 centimeters height. right? But if you observe these transactions, can you specify any limit for your customer transaction? Do you know how many materials a customer is going to purchase in his shopping?
No, sir.
No, right? So that you cannot specify any length to print those transactions here in the print layout, in the bill output, right? So that depends on the number of transactions done by customer. This should automatically expand the length, right? If first page is not sufficient, it should automatically populate the remaining transactions in the second page, right? Are you clear what I am saying?
Yes, sir.
If the first page is not, if the first page space is not sufficient for all the transactions, it should automatically populate rest of the transactions in second page, so that that window should be expand to the second page automatically, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
that we have different types of windows in Smartforms. It is clear, right? Smartform is a print layout. We design print layouts, for example, purchase order document, sales order document, invoice, okay? Even your offer letter, your pay slip, all these things can be designed in Smartforms, right? Clear?
Okay, sir.
Now, what are the windows? First one is main window. Secondary window, final window. There is one more window, that is copies window. Okay? So these are the four windows available in Smartforms. Is everyone clear? Why we have four different windows? As I said, if it is a fixed length, if it is a fixed width data, for example, address. So what is the suitable window we can use? What is the window we can use? Secondary window.
My
Secondary window is fixed width window. It won't expand. Depends on the data. It is always fixed. It is always fixed. Okay. For
okay,
example,
sir.
this one, this address data, or this logo. This is always fixed, right? This one, this heading, these are always fixed, right? It won't expand, right? The data is always fixed, so that we don't need to expand the window automatically to the second page, right? But what about this transactions? Is it fixed every time?
No, sir.
So if you take any customer, he is going to purchase only one item or only two items every time, or all the customers who's visiting your store is going to purchase only specific items, one or two items? No, right? You don't know. One customer might purchase one item, the other customer might purchase 50 items. You don't know. Depends on their purchase. We have to generate the bill. That might take 2 pages, 3 pages,
Yes, sir.
or for one customer, it will take only 1 page to print the bill. Depends on their transactions. Their transactions should automatically expand to the next page if the first page space is not sufficient, right? Clear? So what is the suitable window to expand it to the second page? That is main window. Okay.
Okay, sir.
It will print the continuous output. Expand based on the transactions. Okay. Clear? What is secondary window?
Fixed.
It is fixed. Even if you populate more data, it won't expand. Okay. It will display whatever the data suitable for that size, and it will truncate the remaining data. Okay. Clear? And what is final window? It is also like secondary window. What is the property of secondary window? Fixed width, right? Final window is also like a
Yes, sir.
secondary window. And what is the purpose of final window? To print at the end of the form. For example, can you tell me?
Terms and conditions.
Like this, terms and conditions. So whatever the data we keep inside this final window should print at the end, right? It should not print in between. It should print after printing all the other data. Clear?
Okay, sir.
What is copies window? You might observe when you are applying, or when you are sending some applications to the government offices, they use copies, copy to collector, copy to RDO, copy to MRO, like that, right? Copy to so and so minister. For example, you are writing a application to your district collector for a specific reason, and the same letter you are going to copy to the different officers, like one copy to the minister's office, and one copy to the your local MRO, and one copy to your local revenue officer, like that. But for whom you are providing the original copy? But for the original copy, for whom you are giving the original copy? You are giving the original copy to one person, right? That is, for example,
Yes, sir.
take collector, and you are copying different offices, right? Now whatever the application you are providing the collector is the original one, and the remaining all are copies, right? Clear?
Sir.
Similarly, we use copies window to make multiple copies of the same print layout, but on the top it will print, is it a original or a copy? Okay. So what is the use of copies window? Is it clear? Is it clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Just like duplicate printout. For example, first time you'll get a original bill, right? And they'll also generate duplicate bills, copies of the bill. On the bill, they'll indicate that it is a duplicate or copy. Okay.
Yes.
And they'll
Yes,
indicate
sir.
the original bill as original. Okay. There should not be two original copies, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
So there should be one original printout and remaining should be
Very important.
copies to the different persons. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Like that,
Okay,
if
sir.
you want to print, if you want to take a printout with the different copies, original copy and duplicate copies, we use copies window. Clear? So what is the different windows in Smartforms?
Main window, secondary window, contact window, office window.
Yeah, main window will
Secondary
expand
window.
automatically, depends on the data. It will expand to the second page. Secondary window is the fixed width window. Whatever the data that is fixed, constant, you can use a secondary window. It won't expand to the second page. Final window, final window is also like a secondary window. It's a fixed length window. It will print at the end of the form, right? What is copies window? Copies window uses it to print the multiple copies of the same printout. One is original and the remaining are copies. On the printout we indicate which one is original and which one is copy. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So so is it mandatory to use main window in Smartforms?
No, sir.
No, it is not mandatory to
Depends.
use a main window. Whenever you need to print data which should expand to the second page automatically, depends on the data. Then in such scenarios we can use a main window. Okay, otherwise it is not required. Clear? Is everyone clear on this?
Yes, sir.
Now, this is about designing the smart form. Can we write ABAP code inside the smart form? You can write. You can write ABAP statements inside the smart forms. Okay? We have a code initialization section where you can write ABAP statements inside the smart form. Okay? Clear? And how to call smart forms? How to trigger this print layout? We trigger this print layout in a program, driver program. So whenever you create a smart form, yeah, sorry. So we are going to design print layout in smart forms. After designing, what we need to do? How to generate that print layout? How to trigger that print? To trigger that print layout, we need to use a driver program. Driver program is nothing but a report program in which you are going to call your smart form. Okay? How to call a smart form in your driver program? Driver program, don't confuse, it's a report program, SE38 program. But how can you call smart form in your driver program? So when you created the smart form, it will generate a function module. Okay, and you need to call that function module.
All function.
Don't confuse, driver program is nothing but SE38 report program. Whatever the programs you written till now, that is same. Okay, we need to select the data, required data, we need to print on the smart form, and we need to pass that data to smart form function module. Then whatever the data you populate, that will print on the smart form. For example, if you take a print, if you take sales order data smart form for a specific customer, what you need to print on the sales order print layout? Customer details. From where you can select the customer details? Customer name and all, KNA1, right?
Yes, sir. Customer master.
Yeah, in VBAK, in VBAK table, what is VBAK? Sales order header data, right? You can find the
Yes,
customer
sir.
number.
Yes,
You
sir.
can find the customer number in VBAK, sales order header data. That is Kunar, right?
Puna.
You can find the name. Where you can find the name?
K.
Yeah, in KNA1 you can
KNA1
find the
table.
name of that customer. So you are going to join VBAK, KNA1.
KNA1.
In which in which table you can find the transactions of the customer? Transactions nothing but is sales order items. In which
PPA.
transactions you can find?
BBAP.
VBAP. In VBAP you can find what are the purchases, what are the different materials he purchased, and what is the quantity, and what is the price, what is the expected delivery date. You are going to join all these details and generating a record and pass that data to smart form function module, and it will print the data in the smart form. Before that, you need to design your form using a logo, address, and everything. Okay, so inside the smart form you can print static text, that is like terms and conditions and everything, like dynamic data. Dynamic data, we are going to populate it from driver program. Okay, but we are not going to directly call the smart form function module in the driver program. In between, we have to use one special function module to call the smart form in your driver program, that is SSF underscore name. By using this smart form function module, we are going to call smart form function module in the driver program. Clear? Why? But why we need to use this special function module to call the smart form function module? Why cannot we directly call the smart form function module? Because as I told you, smart form is going to generate a function module, right?
Yes, sir.
Give me a minute, sorry. So I told you that when you created a smart form, it will automatically generate a function module, right? For each smart form. Also, I told you that to call the smart form in a driver program, we need to call that function module in the program, right?
Yes, sir.
But again, I am saying that you should not call that function module directly. First, you need to use SSF function module name. Then it will return the actual function module name of the smart form. For this SSF function module, what is the input? Smart form name, right? Smart form name. And what it will return? Function module name. So this SSF function module will take smart form name as a input and return a function module generated for that smart form. Clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
We can also call that smart form function module directly, but it is not recommended. First, we need to call this SSF function module, pass the form name to this, and return a function module name,
Function
and then we need to call
module.
that function module. Whatever the function module that is returned by this SSF function module. Why can't we call smart form function module directly? Why we need to use this? Simply, so I told you it is auto generating, right? A function module.
Yes, sir.
So what are the different layouts of landscape? What is the different systems in SAP project landscape?
Development,
Development,
test,
test system,
test,
and
and
production system.
production system.
So for example, you created the smart form in test system, sorry, development system, that is DEV1. And you created some smart form, Z test invoice. It's going to generate one function module, right, automatically, right?
Yes, sir.
After completing your testing, unit testing, developer unit testing, you released it to the test system. You release the transport to the test system.
Yes, sir.
So when you transport that particular smart form to test system, it is going to generate another function module name, right? Not the same function module name which generated in development system. When you transport it to test system, it will generate another function module name. And after the testing, when you transported it to production system, it will generate another random function module name, not like development and testing function module name. Clear? It depends on the available serial number, because it will automatically generate, right? We cannot restrict, we cannot use same name for same function module name in 3 different systems. It will generate some random names, right? For that reason, if you use function module which is generated in the development, and if you call that function module in the program, when you transported the program to test system, that function module will not be available in test system because it will generate a new function module. What will happen then? Your program won't work because the function module name which you are calling in the program is not available in test system, right?
Yes, sir.
For that reason, We don't call the smart form function module directly. We use SSF function module name and provide form name as input, form nothing but smart form name, and return the function module name,
Function.
and it will give what is the smart form that is generated in the current system. Okay, and we are going to call that specific function module. It is very important interview question. And the process is same for Adobe Forms also. We don't call Adobe Forms directly in the driver program. We use SSF function module name only to get the, for Adobe Forms also it will generate the function module. Okay, calling smart forms and Adobe Forms in the driver program are same. Okay, is it clear for everyone?
Okay, sir.
So this is about the introduction, and tomorrow we'll see how to create a smart form and how to create a print layouts. Clear?
Yes, sir.